Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about the idiot-in-chief, Prince Andrew, the viral Peloton ad, and we have a spoiler-free talk about Knives Out and the other shows we're watching. Our user feedback is from a binge listener, and we end with our weekly feature, the comments of the week. The stories and photos we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 37. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So we're back after 3 weeks. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. I mean, we needed a break around Thanksgiving, but it was hard to get out of the habit. And especially the first week, I kept thinking of stuff I wanted to talk to you about, but oh well.
Yeah, the week before Thanksgiving, I was like, oh, I have something to do on Thursday. What do I normally do on Thursday? I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, it was hard to get out of the habit. And now that we're getting back into it, I'm like, oh, we got to do this again. But no, sorry. I mean it in a nice way, I guess.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and it was weird that week, that first week that we were off, because the Prince Andrew story was breaking. Yeah. And it felt like, oh, we should really be talking about this on the podcast. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to ask her about it.
No, and that's not a happy story. It's just terrible. So I just as well skip it from right when it happened. We're going to talk about it this week, though, of course. And I guess we'll talk about our personal stuff for like a minute. Like we normally do. We won't meander, though. So I got a new car. I had that other car, and like a couple people had bashed into me at separate times. So I think I collected more money from insurance than I paid for the car. But the heating went out on it when it got really cold. And I went to get it fixed, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So I was like, okay, I'll just get a new car, because it was kind of cramping my style to not have heating. So
did you trade in your Ford?
Yes, I had a 2012 Ford Fusion.
Did you trade it in at the Nissan place?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about where you bought your new car.
So I went to your place. We can say that.
You went to my Nissan place where I bought my Nissan, my 2013 Nissan, which I love. I love my Altima.
That's why I went to your place, because you told me that they had great Altimas. And so I live like an hour from you. We don't hang out that much because it's kind of a tough drive. But
that drive sucks.
It's not that bad. I've been doing it more lately, and there's an alternate way, which is not bad. Yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh, so you have an Altima, and I test drove the Altimas, but I didn't like how it felt. Like, I'm really sensitive to feeling the road. And I was like, I'm not sure. And they asked me if I wanted to test drive this Impala. And I was like, I don't want a Chevy, but okay. And then I got in it, and it was so sweet. And it rode really smooth. And it had this really cool control panel and leather interior with lit up piping and stuff. And so I got a Chevy Impala. I really like it.
Now, did you grow up in a household where you were always encouraged to buy American?
No.
With cars, at least?
We had Nissans and Toyotas and stuff.
I was. See, my parents always bought American, and then all of a sudden I got into Nissans, and my mom had a Nissan as well.
Nissans are nice cars.
Yeah, my dad was I guess because he grew up in the 60s and 70s when American metal was it. That was the thing. Yeah. So he always, he just drilled that into me. Buy American. But it's so different nowadays because so many foreign car companies are making cars in America, and it's not that situation where you can't find parts ever. Oh, yeah.
That was a real concern for them back then. I never really thought about that. I have had a couple Fords. I had a Fusion and a Focus. I was just driving the cars my mom didn't want anymore, honestly. And then and so I finally got a nicer, newer car, and it's sweet. It eats gas, though. That's one thing I didn't really think about, but I don't care. It's so nice. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was really nice. It was very quiet, but I liked that.
Okay.
Spent time with my mom and basically just watched a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows and just relaxed. It was really nice.
Nice. Yeah, you work so hard during the week. It was probably good to have a break for a little bit.
And then, this week has been awful.
It was bad.
We're recording this on a Thursday. and like getting back into the swing of, just a full schedule. Oh my God.
But everybody's mad. Everybody's mad in the comments and like yelling and stuff. I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. On Monday, like coming back from Thanksgiving holiday, everyone was just in a foul mood in the comment section.
Oh yeah.
They were yelling at each other. They were yelling at me. I was like, oh. Oh, and then you made me hyperventilate today.
I'm sorry.
No, like, during the break, I went through the calendar. I thought we set up the calendar so that you could see what I was posting. Anyway, but I saw how many award shows we have coming up in January. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awful. And then you started talking about when we were going to do the podcast. I was like, oh my God, we are not going to have any time to do anything in January.
No, what I meant was I was thinking, okay, so Oscars are February
9th.
I finally added all the events to the calendar.
No, I added them. Days ago.
You didn't share them with me. You didn't put them on your own calendar. You didn't put them on the Slebitchy calendar.
Okay.
So we have great minds, but you lack the technological follow through. So
I swear to God, I shared it with you, but I guess I didn't.
No, you didn't. So yeah, we have something every Sunday in January. There's an important awards thing that we have to cover every Sunday in January. And then the Oscars are the 9th. So 9th of February. So we'll be back in February, but I think the 10th, the second week in February, we're just going to have a filler episode that's short. We'll figure out a way to record that, and we'll just bring that to you. It'll just be us talking about a non-time sensitive thing, I guess.
And February 2nd is, we do have something. That's Super Bowl.
Oh my God. Well, I usually do the commercials for that, and that's a thankless task because nobody cares anymore.
I have to watch it because I have to watch the halftime show.
I'm sorry.
And Jennifer Lopez and Shakira and see what the hell they're going to do. It should be good, actually. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Jennifer puts together.
It'll be better than Justin Timberlake and Maroon 5.
Oh, sometimes I get flashbacks of how bad Maroon 5 was, or Adam Levine.
When he took off his shirt.
Yes, his man nips.
He has that memento chest. Has those terrible tattoos. Oh my God. So the first thing we were going to talk about is that Trump was in London just being a piece of shit like he normally is. I don't even know how to recap this. And at first he met with French leader Emmanuel Macron. And am I pronouncing that right? I think I am.
I think it's Macron.
And Macron called him out.
This is Macron.
He called him out for being an idiot. And then the big news in the past couple of days was Justin Trudeau got caught on a hot mic gossiping about Trump's press conference. And it wasn't that bad, what he said, and you could barely hear it. And he was just saying that Trump's people had their jaws on the floor because Trump said that the next G7 summit would be at Camp David. And I guess he just pulled that out of his butt, like most of the things he says. And yeah, of course, Trump responded to that.
Yeah, but what was interesting was that it wasn't just Justin Trudeau talking to some, nobody. He was in a group with Boris Johnson, Emmanuel Macron, Princess Anne, I think like some Dutch leader. I don't know. And they were all gossiping about it. It was just that Trudeau was the one facing the camera so they could lip read or make out what he was saying more. And all of the people in that little circle of gossip, they were all talking shit about Trump. That was amazing, I thought. And Princess Anne was the only woman in the group, and she was in it. She was gossiping and listening to everything. I thought that was funny.
Oh, it was the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte. Yes. I didn't know who he was either. He was kind of cute from behind. So I was like, that's a cute guy. I'm like, I find powerful men attractive. And then Trump called Trudeau two-faced and complained about how they don't spend 2% of the Canadian budget on defense because Canada is a good country and nobody's going to come for them. And they actually take care of their citizens. But that's me editorializing. So that was funny. I don't know what to say about that except it's typical. And I hope the motherfucker gets impeached.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be impeached by the House, but
Turtle Boy is going to save his ass in the Senate.
Turtle face, man-child. Oh, God, I hate Mitch McConnell.
They don't have any principles. Somebody was telling me they're tribe over country.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the Princess Anne angle was very funny and interesting to me. I absolutely hate when Trump travels.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, the shame I feel as an American that this man is representing us. Oh, God, I just cringe. It's so much worse when he travels.
I think other countries feel sorry for us, too, and they know that we're not all like that. And they're like, I'm so sorry. They do. That's what they say in the comments. They're like, I'm so sorry, you guys.
Anyway.
So the Prince Andrew thing happened mid-November, right when we took that break. You want to do the intro for that one?
Sure. It just sort of happened all of a sudden that Prince Andrew decided that he was going to finally address the Jeffrey Epstein situation, because all of his absurd statements and, a palace insider says blah, 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 blah. None of that was working. And as the months were going on, past Epstein's mysterious death in a prison cell or jail cell, the story just kept on percolating. Everyone just kept on talking about it. So I understand why he thought maybe an interview would help deal with this.
Especially because Virginia Roberts was talking too, and she's highly believable and credible, and her story is compelling. So,
right, yeah. But she was only talking to Australian and American outlets.
Okay.
At this point, when Andrew sat down with the BBC had not agreed to interview Virginia Roberts. It was only after the interview that they set that up. It's true. It's very true. Like the day after the interview aired, they set up the interview. He sat down with Emily Maitlis, and she was very prepared.
Yeah.
Let's just say it that. I think it would be pretty easy for a journalist to just sit there and be silent and let him hang himself. But she really did a great job of directing the conversation and calling him out on his bullshit. And there was so much bullshit. Oh, my God. He lied. He showed absolutely zero sympathy for Jeffrey Epstein's victims.
Yeah.
He lied about knowing Virginia Roberts. He just completely glossed over the fact that this photo exists with his arm around Virginia.
Yeah.
He talked about how he didn't. That was one of his justifications for why Virginia's story didn't make any sense, was because she claimed that he sweat all over her, and he said, oh no, I have a condition from the war, from the Falklands War, that I don't sweat.
Here's that clip. You want to play that clip?
Yeah,
Here's
go ahead.
the clip where he denies sweating. Like, this is outrageous. Here's what he said.
One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have possibly...
There's a slight problem with the sweating, because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was... Oh, actually, yes. I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat.
All right, so he's saying it's impossible for him to sweat, and I looked this up for a minute, and so iNews, which is an Irish source, says that so there's anhidrosis, which prevents a person from sweating normally.
No, come on. We don't have to pretend like this is real.
No, they say it's not real. We
don't have to try to play devil's advocate and say that, maybe it's a real medical condition.
I'm not. I'm saying he doesn't have that. And articles say that dermatology experts dismiss that this is possible, and that you can't have this anhidrosis caused by trauma or adrenaline or whatever. It's just ridiculous. So... whatever.
Yeah, and so after that the interview was catastrophic from the word go.
Yeah.
Basically. The reaction to it, I knew that the interview was airing and I wanted to see the reaction to it. The reaction was instantaneous. Just everyone slamming him, everyone calling him a liar, everyone making fun of him, everyone saying this is one of the most catastrophic things that's ever happened to the monarchy.
Yes.
And the response from Buckingham Palace was, the Queen approved this, everyone's fine. Prince Andrew did a good job. And the next day, he went to church with his mother, and it took more than 3 full days for the Queen to fire him. And that was only after 3 days of everyone saying, what the hell is taking you so long? This was catastrophic.
Yeah.
This was one of the biggest disasters to hit the monarchy. The Queen didn't get it.
I mean, she's very old.
And then everyone started to try to cover for her and say, oh, she didn't know. She didn't know about the interview. She didn't know it was going to be that bad. And yeah, so that's where we are now. People are still trying to cover for her and act like, oh, she didn't know. She believes Prince Andrew. She thinks that he told his story and that everyone should believe him. And it was only until when Prince Charles started calling, he was on tour in New Zealand, and he started calling his mother and saying, you need to fire my brother. You need to fire Andrew. That's when she finally did it.
So there's a lot of talk that the Queen will, what is this term that she'll do? Like, she'll give power over to Prince Charles?
Yeah, there's the abdication, which is, she's no longer queen anymore. She goes off and retires.
And regency.
And then there's the regency, which is she's still queen, but she's still in like a semi-state of retirement. And Charles is her regent, and he just rules in her steed or stead or whatever.
Her trusty steed. Sorry, I'm thinking.
Yeah, her stead.
I'm just thinking of Shrek or whatever. That's how I always think of Shrek and Donkey. Okay, so yeah, this is a mess. And the Sussexes are so smart by getting the hell out of Dodge. They're like, bye, we're going to go to America for Thanksgiving. And we don't know where they have been, but that was really smart of them. And meanwhile, Duchess Kate is carrying all the water for everybody and going to all the things. And she's doing a good job. She's getting better at this. But it's a mess.
Yeah, and you can tell how big a mess it is because the royal reporters are trying desperately to bring Meghan and Harry back into the conversation in any way possible. And they're like, please, just give us the distraction. We don't want to talk about Andrew anymore. And they're trying to make it sound like he's a minor royal. He's the Queen's son. He's the Queen's favorite son. He's not a minor royal. This is not a small story.
No, it's huge. And it's been many years in the works, too. We've known this about his connection to Epstein. And he had plenty of time to prepare this. He could have sounded sorrier for the victims while denying his connection.
He could have sounded sorry, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have just shown a little bit of sympathy for the victims. He did not at any time.
No, he just needed a couple sentences or just to say that he has daughters that's so cliche, but a lot of men do that because they can relate to that, but no, he couldn't.
No, in fact, the only sympathy he showed anyone was to Epstein. He carried water for Epstein. He said, he was a brilliant businessman. He was the greatest. It was such a convenient place to stay. I was just trying to be a gentleman to Jeffrey Epstein.
Can we change the subject already? I don't want to talk about these people. I hate them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let's talk about this crazy Peloton ad. I don't know if I can play a clip from it because it's got that song in it that everybody hates that makes no sense in the context of this horrible trapped lady. So there's that ad that went viral for those $2,245 Peloton spin bikes. Like, I'm sorry, but you do not need to spend that much on a bike with a stupid display. Like, I put my laptop right on my bike. It cost me $200. It's a spin bike. You don't have to spend $40 a month on classes. You can get them free on YouTube. So this lady gets a Peloton bike as a surprise from her husband. And she records, this is the whole premise of the commercial, which you've probably already seen. And then she records like little clips of herself working out, which is a thing that these Peloton owners do. It just looks like she's trying to prove to her husband that she's using this. And then she's like, I can't believe how much this changed me. Thank you. And everyone's like, are you kidding me, lady? Like, or Peloton, are you kidding me? And plus she looks so scared.
Uh-huh. She looks nervous and scared, like he's going to hit her if she doesn't work out.
Yeah. Or, you know, that she's wicked scared of him and whatever.
It feels like a portrait of an abusive marriage. It feels like a portrait of a rich woman in a gilded cage.
Yes. And this totally went viral, and it was so funny what people were saying and mocking it. And Peloton responded. Their stock went down, and they responded. And they were a-holes about it, which you would expect. I can swear on the podcast. They were assholes about it. So they said, while we're disappointed in how some have misinterpreted this commercial, we are encouraged by and grateful for the outpouring of support we've received from those who understand what we are trying to communicate. Come on, they sound like Taylor Swift. Right? You don't get me. Other people get me.
Peloton is bringing that snake energy.
Yeah. They're going to have an ad with gay people in it next. They're going to have a gay family next. Look, we're inclusive.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, a lot of people were saying, well, this is the target audience. I get that. You know, they're clearly not trying to sell bikes to me. They're not trying to sell bikes to you either.
I love spinning. That is my favorite exercise. I spin like 4 times a week.
But they're not, they know that they're not going to sell you a $2,200 bike.
Even if I had that money, I would not be spending it on a bike when you can get the same bike for 10% of that cost.
That's my point. They're selling it to women like Gwyneth.
Yeah.
You know, they're selling it to rich bitches who don't know any better, who already live in gilded cages, so why not work out a little bit more, you fat ass. That's what they're trying to sell.
So skinny,
that's the vibe.
Oh my God. Well, I feel really strong in my conviction to never get a Peloton. I've never even wanted one. I've just been like, wow, that is crazy expensive and stupid. And they've proven that over and over with the way they responded to that.
Yeah, and I don't take spin classes, although I do like a stationary bike. I just like one with a back.
I like the music. I like standing up and getting down, and it hasn't sitting down. I phrased it wrong.
That would hurt. That would hurt my knees.
Oh, it's not bad. It's better than running. It hurts your knees less than running.
I don't run either, so.
I don't run either. I'm sick of it.
It's fine.
Did it for a while. I hate it. So, all right. You saw Knives Out this week. I went to go see it last night. I had my best white chunky sweater on. They took it out of my local theater. I live in the middle of nowhere. I was so mad. I thought they had it there, but what did you think of it?
It was really good.
Cool.
I'm a Agatha Christie person.
Mm-hmm.
I love that sort of closed room, closed house, whodunit. It was that sort of vibe, but modernized.
Yeah.
A very old-fashioned feel to it because the set design, the house, it was so old school.
Ooh.
It was so eccentric. It felt very much like a Miss Marple or a Poirot episode. Cool. It was great. I have to give props to Chris Evans. You know, I'm not a huge Chris Evans fan. I like him okay.
Yeah.
I'm not obsessed with him. But when he walks into the movie, you're like, God damn, that's a movie star. He really owned that character of kind of a posh asshole. He really did.
Nice. Maybe that's his type of role rather than a superhero, because he really hated playing a superhero. Yeah. So
the ensemble was good. I thought, for as much as everyone was like, oh, Toni Collette is playing someone like Gwyneth Paltrow, like a goop type influencer wellness kind of woman, I thought Toni Collette was miscast, and she didn't really lean into that character.
I don't like watching her.
Well, I don't like
at all. She bugs.
I think Toni Collette is crazy talented.
She can act.
Yeah, everyone's allowed to just irrationally dislike someone, and my dislike is for Laura Dern.
I know, but
I can't fucking stand Laura Dern.
It's rubbing off on me a little bit. Like, I like her. And then I'm like, well, she must have something if Chandra doesn't like her, because I've seen over the years, you'll be like, I don't like that person. And then, like, 3 years later, I'll be like, oh my God, she was right the whole time.
I just get a real weird vibe from Laura Dern. I think she's fake.
I don't like Toni Collette because of Hereditary. She was a great actress in that, but that movie was like horror porn. It was terrible, and not in a good way.
The writer-director of Hereditary did Midsommar.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I would watch that.
Well, I watched Midsommar over Thanksgiving, and I loved it.
That's crazy because you don't like horror movies. That's crazy.
It's not scary.
It's creepy?
It was just real creepy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's creepy and it's gross, but almost all of it takes place in daylight.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, ooh, someone's coming up in the dark to get you.
I love really those type of movies. I
hate them. I absolutely hate them. It was full of all this really weird, fucked up imagery, and I loved it. And I thought Florence Pugh, is that how you say her name?
Florence Pugh. It's like Hugh, but with a P. No, it's not Pugher, and no, it's not Pooh.
She was great in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Midsommar, loved it. I watched 5 minutes of Us, and I had to turn it off.
I loved that one. That was a great movie. It did scare me.
I was getting too scared. No, I'll tell you when I turned it off, because this isn't a spoiler, because I only watched 5 minutes of it. As soon as the little girl is in the house of mirrors and the power goes out, I was like, nope. I can't watch anymore. Nope.
All right, you wouldn't have been able to take even another half hour, I tell you. It was good, though. I really enjoyed it. But like I told you, I was scared after, even with people in my house. I was like thinking there were people outside.
Yeah. And I live alone with 2 cats who are like extremely jumpy. So no, I can't do that.
Yeah, they're not protecting you. They're just like making you more scared.
They are not at all. If anything, they try to scare me. All right, so I saw Knives Out, Midsommar, 5 Minutes of Us. I also saw Andy Murray Resurfaced, which is a really good documentary. And if you're British or a tennis fan, if you even like athletic sports documentaries, this is a really good one.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of intimacy to it, and there's also a lot of really gross medical stuff. So a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people love gross out medical stuff.
No, I don't like it.
There's really graphic footage of his hip replacement surgery.
He had a hip replacement already?
Yeah. He had that this year. And he's already won 2 titles coming back with the metal hip.
Impressive.
Yeah. And his body is crazy. And it really is. I'm like, I've always liked Andy Murray a lot, but my God, I'm like completely horny for him now. Oh, that documentary is so good.
What did I watch? I watched some of that documentary about that crazy climber guy, Free Solo, because we got Disney Plus. He climbed up the side of El Cap or whatever, which is like this crazy...
El Capitan? Is that the one?
El Capitan, yeah. And he did it with partners and with ropes, like the proper way, so many times. And then he did it by himself without any ropes or anything. And you fall once, you're dead. Obviously made it, and he's still alive. So...
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
See, no, I couldn't watch that either. It's not horror, but I'm kind of scared of heights too. So
it makes you nervous watching it.
Yeah. I was never able to watch any of those movies about the French guy who walked in between the World Trade Towers. I couldn't.
Oh, Man on a Wire and stuff. Yeah, I watched some of the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But yeah, it was scary watching that, even though you know it's fake.
Yeah. Oh, I also watched The Farewell with Awkwafina. That was good. It was good just to see that kind of representation of this is what a Chinese family is really like.
Okay.
I thought she was very good in it. I'm not completely sold on the idea that she deserves an Oscar nomination for it.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see how the Best Actress race pans out. She just did a good job. Definitely Independent Spirit Award. I could see that. But not Best Actress Oscar. And I saw The Hustle, which was really silly and stupid, but it was cute.
I heard that about it. Is it worth watching? Is it funny enough to watch?
Yeah. Just for like a quick rental or something like that. Absolutely. It's silly and completely fun.
I saw JoJo Rabbit over Thanksgiving. I forgot because my son wanted to see it. And it was really wonderful. It was a lot sadder than I thought it was going to be.
How was Miss Japanese transgender Tree? How was she?
She played a German lady. Her German accent was bad, but she was good in it. I mean, she can act.
I'm shocked that they let an Asian actress play
German lady. I know. ScarJo.
Yeah, I don't think I'll see it just because I don't want to see Scarlett Johansson. But I do support
Taika,
the director. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
Taika Waititi. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'll probably splice it in later where I say it right. But yeah, that was...
I think you did say it right.
So Taika Waititi?
He's behind that vampire show I watch. The really funny one.
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes, I love that. He's behind it.
I watched the movie, but I've never seen the series.
Oh, the series is really great.
Ooh, now I want to see it. And I loved Hunt for the Wilder People. He wasn't in it, but he directed and wrote that one, I think. And that was wonderful. It's on Hulu. Oh, I wanted to put in a plug for the Pajiba podcast, Pajiba. They watch so many shows, and they're funny. If you are looking for new shows, or you want to hear people talk about the shows you watch, I highly recommend it. I love listening to people talk about TV. Let's move on to the user feedback. So we got our first binge listener. Toni on Twitter said she was binging us, which was really flattering to me. It kind of touched me because I'd never heard anybody say that. And then I wanted to say hi to Brianna on Twitter. She said it was a long Monday because we haven't been around. And La Unica Angelina is just so nice to us. And she said that we do a good job. She said you have your format down wonderfully, and 30 to 45 minutes is a great length. And the rapport with you and Kaiser at CB is entertaining and natural. So great job on what you do and your editing skills. So thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, she's always really nice to us. I like talking to her. Okay, let's talk about our comments of the week. So my comment on the week is on Hecate's post where Chrissy Teigen said that turkey tastes like ass. And I don't think turkey is bad, but I thought this comment was hilarious because someone so thoroughly agreed. So Step It Up said she is 100% correct. Turkey tastes like ass smothered in dirt. Once I took over the family holidays, I banned turkey. Well, not banned, but I let everyone know I sure as shit wasn't cooking a turkey. They were pissed, but nobody took up turkey cooking duties. Now they're happy with lasagna, oysters, ribs, etc. I wouldn't care if we never had turkey on Thanksgiving.
I like turkey, but I feel like it's always going to be dependent on how the turkey's cooked and the gravy.
The gravy makes a difference.
If the turkey is cooked poorly and you don't have good gravy, then what's the point? And I also think that people should give it up with the whole turkey and just do a turkey breast.
That's what my mom does because my dad's a vegetarian, and she just does a breast, and that's what she did this year.
Yeah. I mean, most people just want breast meat anyway, so just cook the breast.
My favorite is the stuffing. I could eat a ton of stuffing.
My favorite is the mashed potatoes.
Those are good too, yeah.
All right, my comment of the week was from the Taylor Swift story where she's one of People Magazine's People of the Year. All of the People of the Year have to give exclusive interviews to people, obviously. That's part of the whole deal. And her interview is just full of so much self-pity for how much she's had to endure. And so commenter Ann says, I love Taylor and I love her, but her interviews can be so tedious. Her version of introspection is giving herself a pat on the back for surviving drama she creates.
Yeah.
This isn't as bad as the Rolling Stone interview, which was something, I guess. No big fat lies in this one, so at least there's that. Thank you, Em, because that sentence is absolutely perfect. Her version of introspection is giving herself a pat on the back for surviving drama she creates.
Exactly.
That's it in a fucking nutshell.
Oh, yeah. And like... I was just covering an interview that Amelia Clark did today. She had 2 brain aneurysms. Her father died. she has a bunch of stalkers, and she's like, it's okay, basically. She's just trying to work through her stuff, and she's very logical about it. Not everybody can be that way, but she still feels things. And Taylor Swift, it's all about how terrible everything is because some people don't like her.
Yeah.
It's not like her house burned down.
Right. It's like the world is against her because of a business deal that was completely legitimate and contractual, and everything is fine, and she's the biggest victim in the world because of it.
You're still super rich. Anyway. Like, you're not going to be hurting for anything in your whole life, you know, maybe you're a little less rich. And you still get free stuff and go all around the world, do whatever you want, whatever. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, I can't believe she made her private plane pilot fly on Thanksgiving. You know, that dude probably wanted to be with his family on Thanksgiving. She made him fly to London.
So she could be with Joe. This is like when she flew to London to be with Harry Styles or whatever. This portends poorly for her relationship. I'm trying to come up with fancy words.
Yeah, well, I think she goes to London a lot with Joe. But when she went to Harry to, like, stalk him, that was after he dumped her on New Year's Day.
Yeah. Everybody knew it, too.
I love Taylor Swift gossip. It's always so much fun. It really is.
It's so obvious and lame. All right. Thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. If you like us, tell a friend. And if you rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen, it helps us out, and we appreciate it a lot. Our phone number is 434-218-3219, where you can text us or leave a voicemail. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.